We're live streaming this on my phone, but it's also being recorded for YouTube for later. But we just wanted to be present to the moment. And my friend Forbes Riley is here with us right now. We didn't know. It was a last minute thing.
Right.
She didn't know we were going to be doing this. We didn't know we were going to be doing this. But here you are. And you guys know that I'm known for bringing entrepreneurs tools and resources to improve their lives and their businesses. And so I'm here with Baron Baptiste, who's known for building a global company off of personal branding. So in the future, he's going to be speaking more about that on some of these podcasts and live streams. But today, because for only a few minutes, we still have Forbes with us. She's known as the Queen of Pitch and how to get a yes to everything you want in business and in life by learning how to pitch. So thank you so much for being here with us today.
They were nice.
On the fly.
We're just to give you a little behind the scenes, we're in Baron's house, and last year you guys threw me a birthday party here.
We did.
Which was, I'm not sure what's wrong, but I've lived in St. Pete for like 15 years. I don't have close friends like I do here in Utah. I don't know if it's the water, the air, or my good fortune, but it was a spectacular event. I have more friends here. You guys are, but you're not from here though either. You moved here.
No, I grew up in California, San Francisco.
Where'd you grow up?
Idaho.
Idaho. And New York. And we're
I
all
don't
here.
usually like to share that. No, I'm just teasing.
Idaho,
People usually ask if you're a farmer.
And now that you've left Idaho, population 3.
I still like potatoes, yes. Okay, that's done.
That's so funny. I'm from New York. They ask me if I'm rude. I don't know why.
Are you rude?
Are you rude? Yeah, you're a New Yorker.
You are the most friendly, engaging person that I know.
Thank you. Well, and I'll share that.
I just want to say on the birthday party we had here, I've been to a lot of birthday parties in my life. It was one of the most intimate, connected. There was so much humanity, but really that's really who you are for people, and it's the environments. When you walk into a room, into an environment, like people just open up and people be themselves, and people really just want to share. And what happened at that birthday party was so unique and memorable. So I just want to acknowledge you for being the kind of person that makes people feel at home in themselves and with each other, and what a gift to have you right here.
It's true. I mean, this woman has been on stages like Grant Cardone's and all over the world in front of millions of people, and yet I see you every time. The one person standing in front of you is the most important person in the world.
Let me try. I learned that way. Yeah. You know, it's funny. I learned a couple lessons the hard way. And for any of you who are struggling with your confidence or self-esteem, you're looking at a chick over here who had none of that growing up. But I watched very carefully things that I didn't like in other people. So for example, when I was younger, I had braces and I had a thing in my mouth. I couldn't talk for 2 years. And very hard to kind of talk. Nobody wanted to be your friend. So I had a very lonely existence. And I used to love pop stars. David Cassidy. Remember David Cassidy? Mm-hmm. Okay. Bobby Sherman. Even the Monkees. I can go on and on with people that I had posters and I just loved them. Well, one day the Partridge Family, David Cassidy, I just wanted to be Susan Day. I wanted to hang out with him and be cool and sing. Was having a signing. And I go and I stand in line for about 4 hours, right? That's what little girls do, right? I get all the way up to the red rope. He's right over there and I can see him and I'm staring and he's signing. And at that moment, it was 4 hours into this, the woman on the other side of the rope turns to me and she said, "He's got to go. David's really sorry." And I'm like, but he's not going to get to meet me. Like, he can't go. And it left such an indelible mark on me. And I remember saying to myself that if I ever had that opportunity, I wouldn't let people down. Now, to be fair, I have had people stand in line for 3 hours, and you cannot sign for everybody. But you said something very important. Having that person in front of you be the most important for that moment makes that person feel special. And I think that I got gifted the ability to do that, to be the person of note who signs or who hugs or who loves on somebody else. Because for everyone I do get to touch, and maybe those who are watching and experiencing it, you get to feel a little better about your life. And that's definitely a give back for me.
Yeah, I think it's so good. I think the world we live in too, people don't really see each other. They're not really seen or heard. And if someone shows up and suddenly really sees them and hears them, even just for a moment in an exchange, an interaction, it touches them in a different kind of way. Deeply. In business, in life, in relationships,
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting thing when you get to a certain place. I will tell you that one of the ways that you get to a place is stop worrying about you. And you have to learn this lesson. And I've lived on ashrams, and I've gone through crazy life experiences, and I've had people that I love be murdered. And I will tell you, you don't get to leave this life unscathed. But it's not what happens to you, it is how you deal with it. And so for me, this crazy bunch of life lessons has allowed me to get to a certain point, fame-wise, which I always wanted. I just always wanted to be that. I always wanted to matter. And now that I'm here, I still want to go further, if that makes sense. But I want to enjoy the moment. And I want to meet the people along the way. And we just had a breakfast. I think my new tagline is Queen of Interrogation. I'm like zoning in. Baron's like, I'd like to, every time we went to eat something, I'm like, hey, tell me this story, tell me that story.
That's true.
It really was. Well, because I'm just so, I mean, when you get someone of note who's done things.
Incredible things. Yeah.
Right. Also who's very incredibly humble. I think that's the other thing. Yeah. We all, and you got to really own this. I don't care who you are or how famous you are. You eat with a fork and you poop on a toilet.
That's true.
And at some point I had to remember that the people that I just idolized and thought were better than do that exact same thing that I do. And so when you get to be in their home or see how they live or see how they interact, they can be gracious and humble and nice, but the truth is they're just people. And I love, with their own insecurities. And no matter how famous they are, if you keep pushing, you can find them going, oh, I don't know about how I did this. And I'm like, good, I'm not the only one.
Yeah, you find common humanity.
Yes.
Right? And we're all in the same boat.
Figuring it out as we go.
And we live life by choice. The choices we make each day and who we're going to be. You know, so coming back from breakfast, you had a call with like a group call, right? And you were talking about pitch. But there was so much humanity. You were the way you were expressing what it is to pitch and to enroll people into things that you want to give them. You're contributing to them, but not because you're really trying to get. Yes, you want the sale, you want the deal, you want to accomplish something for yourself, but you're really committed to them and contributing to them and them having their best life and best experience.
You know, just as you said that, when you do yoga, yoga is a practice. When you have a religious practice, and I have gotten a chance, like I said, to live on an ashram and not speak for weeks at a time and do seva and do all kind of interesting things about that, I now believe that pitch is a practice. That being of service or getting people to do things for you, they do that because of how you show up. People don't do things for other people if they don't want to. And to get them to do that, it's not manipulation. It is this interesting, honest, you have a solution to something. You help entrepreneurs connect. You help people find all kind of peace through the journey. And there's other things that we all do, but you do something, whatever it is that you do at home. You have a solution to something. I have a skincare product. I'm working it backwards now, and I have a very clever idea about this. Rather than saying, I have this product, you should get it. Don't say that. Stop telling people what they need. I have a solution, whatever that is, and I'd love both of you to play with me. Given your solution, whatever it is you're working on right now, whether it's you're out on tour, whether you're doing yoga, whether you're doing entrepreneurship, what is the biggest problem the person coming to you has who wants that solution? What's yours?
I think people want their edge. I think people are looking to me, the programs I provide, the trainings, they're looking to get their edge back.
Okay, hang on to that. Without explanation, now watch how this works.
Yeah.
I'm going to say dig a little deeper.
Yeah.
What is the biggest problem that person suffers with? Not having an edge means what problem do they have?
They're resigned.
Okay, they're resigned.
They're cynical.
They're cynical.
They've lost faith and purpose.
Now watch this. Those three things are great. If you flip that, I call that the question flip, and you look at someone and say, hey, let me ask you a question. If you're resigned, if you feel like you've lost purpose and you're overwhelmed, and all of a sudden they're like, yeah, you're describing me, I have my solution for you. And all of a sudden, you're not selling anybody anything. So if I've got a skincare problem, a skincare cream that I love, I'm not going to even tell you what it is. I'm going to ask you, hey, are you somebody who's got some deep wrinkles around your eyes? You're feeling a little older. People say, oh my God, how old do you think you are? Or you look so tired. What if I told you that there is an ingredient that can remove all of that? It's all natural. It's made from aloe and some secret proprietary blend. I can't tell you, but I'll tell you what, 64 years old, I don't see anything here.
Oh, something happened.
I think maybe that did turn off.
Oh, you got a notification.
No, we're still live.
Oh, good. Cameras.
Right?
Yeah, I know.
Yep, there we are.
We took a little break.
Lost my screen for a moment.
So let me go back because I want you to track with this. If you're watching, I think this is really valuable because most people lead with this product. This product will help you get rid of wrinkles. Well, I don't even know why you're telling me that. But if I remind you that there's some crow's feet around your eyes, people say to you, oh, you look so tired. If I have a solution to that that's all natural and fits in with what you think, you're going to literally say, well, what is it? And that then moment, if I then show it to you, I've given you a solution to a problem. That's very different than pitching a product. What is the people who come to you, what are they suffering from?
They have trouble making sure that their business is profitable.
Right, hang on, and put a period there. This is unpacking this is the tough one.
Okay.
They have a problem making their business profitable. What else?
Which then needs to make it sustainable and scalable.
Okay, they have a profitable and a scalability issue. What's the third one?
Overworked and burnt out.
Oh my gosh, if you are somebody who's overworked, burned out, you've got a business. You don't know how to scale it. You don't know how to make it profitable. Would you like to hear what Debbie has to offer? There's only one answer. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is called the question flip.
Give me some.
Give me some.
Yeah.
So I think I've unlocked something that I think we can all key into because nobody wants to sound salesy or pushy.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, we all buy all day long. We just don't want to be sold.
Yeah. Now, would you speak to the product itself? So I get when you're sharing about your skincare product, you believe in it, like you use it. It's something that's you know it will provide real result. There's a lot of people selling things that they don't necessarily. They're selling widgets.
Okay, sorry, I need a little bit of water. Number one, don't sell a widget you don't love. There's not a lot of time on this planet. I made my career, the first 25 years of my career, selling other people's products. That's a really good idea. You know why? I didn't have inventory, I didn't have customer service, I didn't have to worry about any of those things. I showed up, I liked your product, I liked it, whatever it was, I pitched it to camera. Now, over the beginning part of my career, I just said yes to anybody, and I sold some things that I didn't really like. And all of a sudden, people, because it got very popular, would say, you use that product? And I'd go, no. So I made a decision, I said to myself, look, you have a lot of options, you can sell anything, now only sell products you love. That when you bump into that person in the airport and they say, do you love it? Oh my gosh. I don't know if you were with me last night. Daniel was talking to the chef who's from Italy, and he said, oh, Forbes is known for this juicer. And then Daniel said, you probably don't know about the juicer. And I said, stop. I'm going to tell you that he does, because that infomercial ran for 8 years in 80 countries. And I said to him, do you remember the juicer? He's like, oh, the juicer, and I was like, yes. And so one of the very cool things, we're getting a phone call. One of the very cool things about that is I love, welcome to the world of live. I love my juicer, love it. I love everything that Jacqueline stood for, and I could talk your ear off about it. So you brought up a very interesting point. I have a program called Pitch Like a Pro, and I broke it out into a formula. Turns out, don't tell anybody, but I pitch everything the exact same way. And one of those, before you even start talking about your product, what you're talking about is called the hub. The hub is the who, why, when, and how. Why is the product, I've got one on. Why is the product developed? Why was it made at all? Do you understand why it was? Do you understand your connection to the product? Why you? Why are you in love with it? What is it? What is the name of it? What does it do? And you answer all of these things before you ever start talking about it. If you don't truly love what you're doing, here's my advice. Do something else. There's too many choices in this world. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you that the guys who are knocking on doors, who are washing windows, they believe in their service. Yeah. And I've seen them. And the ones who don't aren't very successful.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
So that is the first part that you must do. I then teach a thing called assumptions. And everyone says, you're not supposed to be judgmental. I said, don't be judgmental. Make an assumption. If I look at somebody and he's 7 years old, and I've got a product, a skincare product, should I pitch him the same way I pitch a 60-year-old woman?
No.
No, but I could get him interested to go tell his mom what I have if I can adjust my pitch. So I have a very disruptive concept, and maybe you've heard of it, but it's the avatar. I hate the avatar. They literally say you have to find your ideal customer. Does she drink Starbucks tea or coffee, have a poodle or a shepherd?
I'm so with you on that.
And her name is Susan.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
My thought is, if you don't meet Susan, how can you? So my thought is you turn everyone into your avatar, because I've got a solution. So if I've got a skincare product and I look at you as a man, I might say, have you ever tried a facial product? Most men haven't, but I'll tell you what. I just gave this to my husband. People are telling me he looks 10 years younger. Might you be interested and want to hear more?
Yeah.
Bingo. All you got to do is get a yes. Right. Yeah. Now I say for you, you're a mom, a very busy mom, and I tell you, you look beautiful. But I'll tell you what, if you're out in the sun too much, but now you can be out in the sun without all the icky stuff and sunblock, would that be interesting to you?
That is very interesting to me.
So it's not the same perfect pitch. What it is the perfect pitcher. And it's a skill, and it can be learned. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, when you execute it, you can, number one, sell anything, but also get anything that you want. My daughter came home from a plane. She was on a school trip in France, And she's so good at this. We practiced this at the dinner table. We practiced pitching. And she went up to the check-in counter. She'd gotten some candy. And she went up to the very lovely flight woman who checks you in and started a conversation and told a story and gave her a sweet. Next thing you know, she's like, would you like to be upgraded to first class? Cha-ching! And everyone in her class is like, how did you do that? She's like, my mom teaches me how to pitch.
Learned how to ask.
So good. So there's an aspect, and you've pointed to it a bit, but I want to go underneath a little bit. So one of my sons is a door-to-door. He sells solar.
Wow.
And he goes door-to-door. And he's out of 3,000 agent sales door knockers. He gets first, second, third place every quarter.
Wow.
And I said, what is it? He said, well, Dad, I literally have 30 seconds when someone opens their front door. And I said, well, it's not just what's coming out of your mouth. He's like, no, it's like just who I'm being in the moment. Like there's something credible or trustworthy, likable, relatable. Will you speak a little bit to that?
55% of how somebody judges you in the moment they see you is visual. Before you speak, your pitch begins. So we look at everything about you, how you're dressed, what your teeth are like, what your skin is like, are your eyes bright, are you nailed? You notice everything. The next thing people judge on is the tone of your voice. And if I talk like this, you're not going to listen to me. I am not supposed to speak. My God. You can't hear a word I'm saying because you can't get that right. And then only 7% of what they take in and what they make decisions on is the words you're saying. So it's not focusing on, you need to learn all that. But your son shows up, I would imagine being your son. Are you happy to start with? You don't want to buy from somebody who's miserable. Hi, I got a solar panel. Anybody want to buy a solar panel?
Got a quote out of me.
But if you've got this engaging smile, and I'm sure, and he's really cute, and he shows up wanting to help, I would listen. I'd give him, but you only get 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So when it does get a chance to, what are you doing? How are you serving? What is the first thing he tends to say?
I'd have to ask him.
Oh, I'd be really curious.
Yeah.
Because door to door blows my mind.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do it. I mean, because I don't personally like when people knock on my door. But I also screwed up. I don't really like emails either. And then when email marketing happened for big, I didn't even really get that phase. But a friend of mine said to me, watch me shop my list. I said, what are you talking about? He has a list of about 10,000 names. He said, I have a new product. I'm going to promote it to my list. And within about an hour, he made $4,000. And I'm thinking, I'm missing a boat here. So I learned a little bit of how email marketing works. And for some people, it's just brilliant. I would love to know what he says, though, because it'd be really interesting.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of 30 seconds, we have about that left.
Oh,
Because
no!
you have a plane to catch and we have a call to run. So how can people learn this skill from you?
Well, I'll tell you what. Here's something you can do for free. Come join me on Sunday. Every Sunday since COVID started, that's a lot of Sundays. What's 5 times 52? About 250 Sundays. I show up on a Zoom call, and I'm going to give it to you guys completely for free. www.askforbesriley. Forbes Riley is my name. And I spend about 2 hours working on people's pitches, teaching. There's some beautiful fundamental speaking concepts. I'll give you, is it okay if I give you one of them?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of them I call the 3 E's. It is to excite, engage, and enroll. I don't know if you noticed when we've been talking, we're not just kind of sitting here relaxed. There's a level of excitement. There's a reason to want to share with you something that's very important to all of us. That excitement, that inner hype, I'm not yelling and screaming, but there's a level of, ooh, something's bubbling and you want to get on board. There's a little bit of scarcity there. If I don't tune in, I might miss something. The second one is to be engaging. I'm looking at how passionately you guys are looking at me. I'm looking at you. When you talk to somebody, are you really looking at them? You know, when you go to a party and someone asks you, what are you doing? They're like looking around, very disengaging. You're on a Zoom call and people are kind of distracted. I am all about demanding attention when you're in that moment because I don't need your time long, but I just need your focus to give you something spectacular and then you go on your way. And that enrollment part is what your son is dealing with. Do you have the courage to ask someone to pay for something, to come to you, even if it's free? By the way, free is not easy. But that moment of asking has all kind of issues with people. And so if you know you've got something wonderful, you want to make impact, you've got a product or a service that people really should have in their hands, would make their lives better, ask for the close. And so come this Sunday and see what I have to offer.
Okay, you guys heard it here. It's free. It's just, that's the best pitch ever. Why would you say no to that? You can get anything you want in life or in business by learning how to ask from Forbes. If you guys want some more of these live calls and even some hot seat strategies with people like Baron and Forbes, we'll join our Founders Edge group. I'm going to post the link below and we'll let you know of more upcoming lives. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you so much.
So good.